Hello. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope all is well. I am steps in, and it's a little warm out here, but I'm not going too far. Just gonna walk down to the corner and back. I've been walking a little bit, so I need to get these steps in. It's the weekend. I'm happy about it. Welcome in, everybody. Hello, hello. Please vlog. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate you all so much. Get a few steps in, and then we're going. Please vlog. Thank you all. Ooh, you hear me? I had some echo in the background. I hope you can hear me. Hello, Joshua. If you can hear me, give the thumbs up. Hello, Bud. Has echo in the back. How are you doing? Can you hear me? Welcome in, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I don't know what's going on with my phone. I hope you guys can hear me. Y'all, I don't know what's going on here. I'm gonna have to get back to my patio so I can try and see okay, you can hear me. Good. I've been out here for about 5 or 6 minutes. I'm not gonna stay out here too long because it is a little bit hot out here. A little bit hot. We're going to go to the patio. We're going to look at the garden briefly. And we are going to talk about setting boundaries. Look at the birds and the trees chirping. I hope everybody is doing well. Do you have any great big plans for the weekend? I have my iPad on. I thought I turned it all the way down, but I will see. I think I've been out here in the streets long enough walking in the heat because I actually started out before I set the live to come on. It's a little breeze out here, a little bit of a breeze. If I don't get but a few steps in, I'm happy about that. This phone has been doing some crazy stuff, but I'll check it and see if it's okay. Let's see. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm gonna briefly show you what's going on in the garden. Oh, let's see here. Y'all look at this watermelon. It is growing, and it's another one in here. I don't want to break them off, but y'all look at this. Y'all see this? watermelon. It is growing, and I am excited about that. Beans are growing here. Got more beans coming up here. And y'all look at the mustards. They're growing. Collards. I've already watered some stuff this morning. And this is the okra. Got some okra coming up. But we're going to get out of the heat. Oops. Bee, a bee is swarming. We're going to get out of the heat and go to the patio because we're not going to be on too long. Okay, I'm going to position you right here and see what everybody is saying. Let's see. Okay, guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, we made it back to the patio from the outside with Marilyn. Nikki, the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick. Welcome in, everybody. Wellness with Fruit Mama, the Bud Files, Pre-Retirement Days, Frank G. Welcome in, everybody. You like my plants? Nikki, they are doing, you see I have this Burgundy Royal bean growing right there on the patio, along with my collards and peppers and some herbs, eggplant, kale. Got quite a bit of stuff growing out here. My fig tree. I even have some microgreens that are doing well. Can y'all hear me? Yes, you can hear me. Thank you, Making with Marilyn. Thank you so much. Thank you all for coming. And we are going to, let me show you my microgreens. These will be good for salad. Look at these. How you like them, Nikki? Microgreens. They're doing real well. Everything you see here was planted from seeds sown. So I'm excited about everything we have out here. Okay, let's see if somebody says something that I need to answer. Greetings to you, the Haven, Grandma Lynn, Sister Lynn, thank you for being here. Thank you, Maridi's Vlog, The Bud Files, Joshua, Retirement Days, Frank G, Frugamama, Nikki, Marilyn, and everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Love the Royal Burgundy beans, yes. And they be so pretty. I like to see them grow. I love that rich burgundy or purplish color. I really do. And I know a lot of people don't celebrate certain holidays, but if we have a lot of people do, so respect to the ones who do. And happy Father's Day weekend to the dads that are in the chat. Okay, so we're going to talk about boundaries, setting boundaries. That is a very important topic to me and a pet peeve. We must set boundaries. Setting boundaries is essential to maintain healthy interpersonal relationships. It's very healthy with the connections and the associations between people to set boundaries. Some people don't know what boundaries are. They have no limits. They have no common sense about things. And sometimes we try and make excuses like, well, they were not taught, they were not raised that way. But this could be true in a lot of cases. But as you get older and you observe and you talk to people, you interact with people, you can learn. We can learn a lot if we just take notes, just watch other people and see how they act about certain things and see what they do about certain things. We can sometimes overstep our boundaries or our limits, and it's not good. It's unhealthy to do that. And we want to maintain those healthy relationships. We want to protect our mental, our emotional, and physical well being. And we can't just have people just do any and everything. If they don't know boundaries, we have to set boundaries. We have to establish limits, and space must be protected and respected. Some people have no respect whatsoever. They don't know limits. I don't know. I don't get it. But there, and I'm not talking about teenagers, I'm not even talking about 20-year-olds, even with children, our grandchildren, nieces, nephews, whatever children we may be around, we have to establish boundaries with the children, and it starts early on. You cannot just let a child just do whatever, whenever, however. You have to have some order. God is a God of order. We have to be orderly about things. We have to set limits with our children. When we tell them they can't do a certain thing, or they can't, you may tell little Johnny, you cannot have this candy, you cannot eat this candy today. Little Johnny may throw a tantrum. You got to set limits right then and there. You have to train. You may have to put little Johnny in timeout for a little bit. You may have to do this. These are all a part of training. If little Johnny doesn't get it when you try to, um, put him in timeout, put him in his room, for a few seconds, and he's still throwing a tantrum, I believe you got to tap a little bit. I believe you spare the rod, you spoil the child. You got to tap a little bit, not abuse. I don't believe in abuse. I don't believe in spanking children with objects like cords and all these kinds of things. However, growing up in my era, they would pick up anything and hit you. I mean, a backhand lip to your face, take that backhand and pop you in your mouth when you're saying things. But we have to, whatever method we choose to use, as long as it's not abuse, as long as it's not torturing, we have to set limits, boundaries, and we have to stick to them. This is all a part of training up a child. Now let's get to the adult. Hey, Miss Gwen. Okay, Lounge. How are you doing? Thank you for coming. Thank you, my international friends. I don't know what you're saying. Boundaries let us know the do's and the don'ts. Yes. And sometimes you have to check. You just have to check people. Thank you, Nikki. Setting boundaries. You have to check people. You have to put them in check. Um, Sometimes people don't want you to say no. You can't do this. You can't do that. But that is unhealthy. That is an unhealthy relationship when you cannot. For instance, I'm going to give you a personal example. Many years ago, a family member gifted us a large ticket item. Very good. When the family member brought the item to the house, and it was three of them that came, they wanted to put the item where they wanted to put it in our house. Right there, you're overstepping boundaries. You're overstepping the limits. If you're gifting somebody something for their home, if it's a large ticket item or whatever it is, You cannot, you've gifted it, it's out of your hands. You can't tell them where you want them to place it in their home. So, because that is a takeover spirit to me, that old Jezebel spirit, and so many people have those spirits. I have noticed that Jezebel spirit lurking in the churches, lurking on these YouTube streets and these social media outlets. That is a terrible spirit, a takeover, overbearing spirit. You wanting to tell people what to do, what with what concerns them. Okay, to get back to that point, when I told the family member, no, it's not going to go in this room, in this spot, because it didn't make sense because we already had that particular item in the room already. So why do we need another one in the same room? My husband didn't say anything. But I spoke up and I said, no, we're not going to put it in this room at all. This is not where I want it. And so they backed off. No problem. Then they wanted to, well, we'll put it in the room. No, don't worry about it. Just leave it right there. We'll put it in the room we want it in. And so, they backed off as if I had cussed them out or if I had said a dirty word to them or whatever. I mean, it was like uh, hands up, like, oh, okay. You could feel the vibrations, but I didn't care because you can't come in my home and just take over. I would never go to anyone's home, friendship, family member, or what. Now, when you go to your parents' homes, it's certain things you can do at your parents' house. It's certain things you won't do at your parents' house. But for anybody to come in your home, I couldn't go over there to Nikki's house and just go in her kitchen. She didn't invite me in her kitchen. What do I look like going in her refrigerator? And she didn't tell me to wash my hands and go in her refrigerator. I mean, I have seen some stuff like this. People will walk in folks' houses, not wash their hands, and will go in their kitchen and their. You don't do that at a friend's house. I don't even do that at a family member's house. I know I could do it at my mom's house, but just because somebody is your family member, could be your aunt, your cousin, your best friend, you're not going to do that unless they welcome you to do that. Some people don't even wait for you to welcome them. They just start doing stuff, going in and this is another thing. If you have a house guest, this is where wisdom, common sense, whatever you want to call it, kicks in. If I go over there to Gwen's house, she's invited me to her home to spend the night, OK Lounge. We have had supper or whatever. What do I look like at 1 o'clock in the morning, getting up, running in her refrigerator, looking for something? I mean, these are just things that you just don't do. Sometimes you don't. We used to, as a family, go to my aunt's house and visit her all the time. She lived in Louisiana. My mom's sister. She was my second mom. But after she cooked, we all sat at the dining room table, we ate. I would not go in her kitchen at 12 o'clock at night cooking or looking for food or going to the refrigerator. And I know I could go in her refrigerator and it was no problem, but it's just certain boundaries, it's just certain limits, certain um, common senses, certain things that you just wouldn't do. That's just a takeover, disrespectful spirit, in my opinion. Maybe, and my daughter always tells me, both of my daughters really, Mama, Everybody was not raised like you. I get that, and I realize that. Everybody wasn't raised like me. And I don't expect everybody to behave like me. But it's certain etiquette, certain manners that you should have. You know, I started writing a little journal on etiquette, just simple etiquette and manners. Some things people just need to learn, they just need to know. You walk in somebody's house, your TV is not on, and I get the remote and I start flipping through channels. No, you don't do that. I have gone to best friends' homes. I would sit right there, wherever we were sitting in the den, living room, wherever, and talk. I didn't jump up, and I've had family members and friends come to our home, and they would say, I want to use the bathroom, or is it okay if I go to the bathroom? Which they don't even have to ask if it's okay, but just common courtesy, they will say, I'm going to the bathroom. And I think that's what you should do. Don't just have a takeover spirit and just start running through people's houses just because they're your family, just because they're your friends. My daughter, when my daughter was dating her husband, she would go to family functions with him. The way my daughter had been raised, she did not run through those people's houses, his aunts and his family members. She said, Mom, I would go there. I would sit right where I was. I would conversate with people. I wasn't all over the table. I didn't eat everything that was there because I didn't want it. A lot of stuff I didn't eat. But whatever I ate, I ate it moderately. But guess what? Those group of people said my daughter was bougie. Bougie because she had been taught manners. She had been taught not to run through people's houses. When my children were young, I could take them to any friend's home. They would, if they had to go to the bathroom, they would say they had to go. If they were in another room, away from where the adults were, they were there until we got ready to go. They were not running through like wild animals or wild horses through people's houses. You don't do that. You don't do that. Hey, Musa, how are you doing? Blessings to you, Grandma Lynn. But it's such thing as etiquette, manners, common sense, wisdom. All of this pretty much come under the same heading. Just learn modesty. Learn how to act like you're human. Learn how to act like a lady or a gentleman. Don't just, and then when you sit in one place, then you get accused of, oh, she thinks she's this, she's bougie. So I told my daughter, don't worry about those people because everybody's just not, everybody does not belong. You can't make yourself get in where you don't fit in. You can't act like other people be acting just to fit in. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. My daughter has even got accused of, oh, your house is too clean. You can eat off your bathroom floor. Your house is just immaculate. And isn't that the way it's supposed to be? Clean? Tell me. Welcome in, Lori HJ. Thank you so much for coming. But that's been something that I've been thinking about, setting boundaries, because some of these adults out here need to learn. They haven't taught the children because they don't know. Some things you can learn after you leave your parents' home if you want to learn. You don't have to be that way. You don't have, it's all disrespectful to me. It's just disrespectful. You want to get up at night at somebody's house, family or whomever, running in the refrigerator, not washing your hands in many cases. I have seen some people do this. I have been told about some people doing this. I have heard about people doing this. No etiquette, know how to do, just it makes me sick. It's one of my pet peeves, and it ties in with friendships and relationships. you know how are you going to have these healthy connections with friends or with in marriage relationships? How are you going to have these interpersonal relationships with people when you don't know how to behave? You don't know how to act. And this is something that just came about in the last some years. Bougie. Oh, you too bougie. You think you all this. You think you all that. Well, if I don't think I'm something, nobody else is going to think it for me. I don't think I'm better, but yes, I am somebody. I'm no better than anybody, but I feel I am somebody. I'm going to carry myself, not perfect, never have been, never will be, have made so many mistakes in life. So many mistakes that I can't go back and change. But I'm not the lowest thing on the totem pole. I do know how to act. My mama did teach me manners, and I did teach my children how to behave, the do's and the don'ts, what to do and what not to do. Being modest, don't act like a pig when you go to these gatherings and eating like my mama say, eating like one dog and looking like another. Y'all excuse me, but that's what my mom used to say all the time. In reference to how some people eat, and God forbid, don't let some people go to these church gatherings and eatings. I mean, they be taking place out. They be stuff in their pockets. When I went, I'm gonna get off the topic a little bit. When I went to my college class reunion over a month ago, they had food, all kinds of food. I mean, good food, flavorful food, tasty food. They had more food than they needed. They had more than enough. They had drinks if you wanted strong drinks. They had tea. They had lemonade. Everything, desserts, everything clean. The servers looked good. They were nice and clean. I mean, it was A1. You could eat as much as you wanted to because the food was there. But would y'all believe some people took plates away from the function? Would y'all believe at the Golden Carpet Gala, they took food away? And my daughter said, Mama, did you see those people with those plates? Welcome in everybody. Lisa J. Stocks, welcome in everybody. Would you believe this is how now these folks, a lot of these folks were college grads, professional folks. I'm not saying they're better than anybody, but you would think they wouldn't be doing such a thing. I would eat what I wanted to eat and get full because the food was there, but I dare not leave out there with plates. With plates. No way. But it's just etiquette, and etiquette is a pet peeve of mine. I'm telling y'all, I cannot stand some of these things that I see people doing. Maybe I'm too old, maybe I'm outdated, or whatever. But I don't think etiquette goes out of style. In my book, it's not obsolete. It's not obsolete. Good manners, I wouldn't say that would be obsolete. Let's see if I can go back and read comments, because I know I've missed many, and I thank you all for coming in. Let's see what everybody's speaking. Joshua said he can hear me. Everybody's speaking to everybody. Let's see if I can read comments. Uh, let's see here. No, I'm missing some. Nikki, Nikki said my plants look good. I think I saw that. They turn green when cooked, though. Yes, Nikki. I have never cooked them, but I read that because I did my research. You remember last season, I had some, and I researched them, and I saw where they turn green when you cook them. Yes. Let's see. Beautiful microgreens. Thank you, Nikki. Hi, Care 5 Aqua. Greetings to you. Hey, Gwen. Gwen said, hey, Miss Patty. Happy Friday, everyone. Headed to work, but listening for a few. Thank you, Gwen. Have a great day at work. Hello, my international friends. I don't know what you're saying, but hello. Let's see what else. Good afternoon, Miss Patty, everybody. Tamika Davis, thank you for being here. Lisa J. Stocks, thank you for being here. Controlling spirit. Yes, those Jezebel controlling spirits, Nikki. And I can't stand that. Uh Jez Jesginsi 35. How are you doing? Forgive me if I mispronounced your name. Let's see. Turkey. Waiting everybody. Waiting everyone my channel. Okay. Folks crazy, they know who to try. Yes, Gwen, yes, indeed. You're right, and I think you had reference to what I said about the family members that came with the big ticket item and want to tell me in what room to place it in our home. But that was a no-no. But I'm going to tell y'all something. A lot of times what I see, and even in the physical, I see when people are elderly, sometimes they become passive and they just accept anything, whatever, and they just let people jerk them around, and they humble down, and just let people take over and do it. But y'all, I'm an elder. I'm up there. But that is not me. That is not me. You're not going to jerk me around. You're not going to do what you want to do. I thank God for strength. I'm not passive when it comes to things like that. I will speak out. If it's something I don't like or something I don't want, I will let anyone know. If you don't like it, if you don't like me because of that, I am very, very sorry. I can only be who I am. I try to be kind to everybody. I try to speak um, nicely to everybody. And I don't think I do a bad job. I try to help those that I can, those that I'm led to help. Do I help everybody? No, because I can't. But do I help people? Yes, I help a lot of people. And I'm not talking about YT. That is just who I am. But what you're not going to do is jerk me around. You're not going to take over. You're not going to tell me what you're going to do at my house, at my yard. Y'all know I did a video last week. I had to let my lawn man know that he couldn't come the day he wanted to come. I mean, you have to have respect for people and ask people if you can do a certain thing. You don't make rules for other people. See, that's where it comes to setting boundaries, setting limits. Now, I don't think I'll have a problem with him wanting to come to cut my lawn on that particular day again. And it's not all about spirituality or anything like that. It was a lot about my neighbors being home on Saturday and Sundays. I don't know if these people sleep in late or whatever, but I have respect for my neighbors. I don't ever want to disturb neighbors. I don't have anybody coming to my house, even when my children were at home, loud music, blowing horns. No, no, we don't do that here. So you have to set boundaries, but I believe if I get to be 80 or 90 years old, I'm still not going to let you just take over. I'm not going to, as long as God gives me strength, as long as He keeps my health intact, I'm going to be who I am, who He created me to be, and you won't take over. I will say no because it's healthy when you can say no to something and not feel bad about it. Yeah, sitting on somebody's bed. That's another thing. Yes, when I was a little girl, Frugal Mama, my grandmother told me a long time ago. I was a little girl. I always knew you don't sit on bed. That's why she had a couple of chairs in her room. You don't sit on her bed. Mm-mm. My mama had chairs in her room. You did. I mean, she's in a smaller place now because she sold her house, but she had chairs in her bedroom. No, you don't sit on her bed. You don't sit on her bed. Mm-mm. And I wouldn't even go to somebody else's house and plop down. I may sit on my own bed because that's my bed. I'm asleep in it. I can sit on my own bed. But I don't even go to my mama's house and sit on her bed because I know from a child that was a no-no. Trying to see, yeah, people will call you stuck up, sit on down and observe and be curt. Yes, that's because they don't have manners, Frugal Mama. They don't know how to act. And they're the ones that don't have manners and don't know how to act. The same ones that's calling you stuck up, bougie, and all this stuff. They're the ones that's lacking in that area. Hi, James Money. Some people are weird these days. Yes, they are, Frank. Yes, they are. B, how you doing? Thank you for coming. Lisa J. Stock said classy. Yes, gotta have some class here. And Frugal Mama says, I tell my children, don't ask for nothing. If I haven't given it to you, you don't need it. Folk out here poisoning folk or want to throw it up later. Nope. Yes, Frugal Mama. Yes. And my children are very funny and peculiar about where they eat, you know, and all of this because I've taught them you don't take food from everybody, this, that, the other, they know. So if you call and say they bougie, stuck up, or whatever, sit there looking funny or whatever, well, okay. Family gatherings too, yes, be Benet. And Frugal Mama say, yep, I believe it. Some people just can't act right. That's right. They haven't been taught, but they should have learned something along the way. Can't have nothing. Yes, Nikki, you're right. And stop going places with no money. Yes, Frugal Mama. Pay your way. I always believed in paying my way. I taught my children, even if you ride in the car with another student, I gave my children money. They didn't have to ride with anybody. But if they did, you give them this $5 on their gas, you know, whatever. I always taught them to pay their way. And I can truly say my children believe in paying their way. Them two that I carried in my belly, oh yes, they're like me. They're givers and they pay their own way and they're very independent. So yes, you have to train them and make it with Marilyn said it should not go out of style or become obsolete. That's right, Marilyn. The younger generation spends so much time online without real interaction. You're absolutely correct. Hey, Miss B, how are you doing? Glad to see you. My passive until I'm not really working on that. Yes. Well, I'm passive in some ways, but at the same time, I'm not gonna let you just take over. I mean, that, so I maybe not be, I may not be passive like that. I know I'm not, because I believe in, if I have something to say, I'm going to say it to the person. I'm going to ask the person what's the problem. If there's a problem, if I detect some vibrations or whatever from a friend or anyone or a colleague, I will straight come up in your office and ask you what's the problem. I've done it. I've done it. If you have a problem with me, we need to talk. So I guess I'm not so passive, Frugal Mama, because I believe in, see, my mama, she would tell you stuff, but she'll wait until it builds and builds and builds. Then she'll go off. That's the way she used to be when she was younger. I'm not gonna wait to stuff. It's just something inside of me. I can't let stuff build and build and build from the same person. I'm gonna have to nip that in the bud right now. You know, like my mama always had this saying, and my grandma, telling you up front so you won't feel funny behind. I don't know if y'all ever heard that expression, but I guess that's one of my Louisiana expressions, because a lot of people there say it. I'm going to tell you in front so you won't feel funny behind. Yes. Okay, let's see. Daniel Berry, welcome in. Miss B and fam, so happy to see you. Children is out. Yes, they are out of control, Joshua. I never do that at people house. They just be right. You can't. You have to have manners when you go people house. I do the same thing, Miss Patty Pay. When I ride with people, yes, I am very independent, Miss B and fam. That's right. They need, and you could call it thinking I'm all this or all. No, I just believe in paying my way. I'm not a user. I will give you before I will take. And that's the same spirit my mama has. She will give you more than something is worth than to take. I can't stand thinking that I wouldn't be able to rest if I thought I didn't do what I needed to do concerning a person, or some people just don't care. They're so stingy. They don't care what type job a person does. They're giving the least amount as they can. No, I'd rather pay you more. Even if you charge me and I know it's worth more, I'm going to give you more. I mean, that's just the way I am. Country Hustle, welcome in. Thanks for being here. No, I will let people know me. Yes, Miss B. I think that's the best way to be, Miss B. I believe in telling a person, don't go behind a person back, talking and being fake and phony. Then when you see them, you grinning like everything is all right. No. Tell people so they will know what the problem is. Tell them so they will know what the problem is. You know, I got a friend, a long time friend, and I called this friend one day, and I don't know if the friend was busy or what, or she was trying to swipe the call off, or she didn't have time to talk, but I could hear her talking in the background, not realizing, I'm sure she didn't realize I could hear her. So I said, okay, so I'm not going to call her. She must have been busy. But with me, I will pick the phone up and say, I'm in the middle of something. I'm busy right now. Can I talk to you later? Or I just wouldn't touch the phone at all, because these phones are sensitive, and you could be trying to swipe it off and it hasn't cleared and whatever. And then a person can hear what you're saying. Not that she said anything horrible, but the fact, I knew at the moment she didn't have time. So, okay. I said, I'll just wait. She'll call me back. And so, and I did feel a little some kind of way, because, just pick up the phone and tell me that you're busy. you'll call me back or just send a message. I'm busy right now. I'll talk to you another time. But now you talking in the background. That's why we have to be careful. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Be careful because you never know when you got a hot mic or a hot phone speaker that is still on. Y'all be careful with that because I know a situation people have heard people talking about them because the connection was not broken. That's even on your landline phones. So I said, well, I'm not going to bother her. I'm just going to wait until she calls me back. And we have known each other at least close to 50 years. So she did. She called me back probably a week later. And y'all know me, I had to say, I heard what you said. I told her, I heard what you said. I said, I guess you must have been trying to swipe off the phone. I said, but I understand. I had to let her know. And we went right on with the conversation like it was nothing, like nothing hadn't been said. But that's just to give you an idea how I roll, how I am. I believe in, I'm not going to be worried about what somebody said and it's just pulling on me. I'm going to let you know. So once I do that, I am free. It's just like forgiveness. When you forgive somebody, you take the weight off yourself. So when I let you know something like that, I'm okay. I feel good. And it was no love lost, no fussing, no animosity. We carried on the conversation just like usual. Just like usual. So, that's the only way to be. I think people can appreciate you more when you just come out with the truth and you let people know. I think people can accept that more. Just be who you are. You don't have to lie. Yes, clear the air, Nikki. That's a good way of putting it. Clear the air. Don't walk around mad because she didn't want to talk to you at the moment. She was swiping the phone off and talking at the same. uh, but anyway, she called me back after, since that. So, we're good. It's just that now sometimes when you have to ask people what is the problem or what did I do, whatever, you're acting funny or whatever, sometimes people get wind in their jaws. They don't want you to ask them anything. But I have to ask you. But now I know when to be quiet too now. It's just like when we do content, everybody's not going to like our content. I don't know how I went from setting boundaries and limits to on into something else. But y'all know, as it comes to my mind, y'all know how I do it. I don't understand. If you do not like, well, I guess it can kind of tie in with knowing what to say and when to say it. If you do not like a certain piece of content, you don't have to be nasty. Just scroll on. You don't have to say anything because you got to remember now. I did a talk on individuality. Everybody's an individual. Everybody's not going to do things the way you do them. Everybody's not going to cook a dish the way you may cook a dish. You can make any dish your own. You can add your own uniqueness to dishes. That's what I do. So don't come telling me that's not the way to cook it. I never heard somebody putting this, that, or the other in that particular dish. Well, I'm going to say like the elders used to say, it's a lot that you don't know that will make another new world. And that's what I used to hear my grandmother say. It's a lot you don't know that will make another world. So you don't know everything. Everybody cooks differently. They may cook the same dish. I don't even cook spaghetti the same way every time. You know, it's your dish. It's what you do. If you don't like a certain dish, you don't have to sweat it. You don't have to eat it. It's not for you and your family. It's not cooked in your kitchen. If you don't like it, all well and good. But don't criticize what my dish looks like because you don't like it. Good if you don't like it. That's fine. I don't have a problem. I see a lot of content that I don't like. I would never criticize somebody's content. Oh, I wouldn't do that this way. That's not the way you do it. You do it like this. You didn't put this in that. You didn't do. You don't have to do that, people. You don't have to do people. And I think that comes under too having common sense. You don't have to address something that you don't have to eat. Nikki said, "Let him use you." Oh yes, yes. Thank you, Nikki. Yeah. So we just came out here to take a few steps before the weekend sets in real good and to just show you a little bit of my garden. Nikki, did you see how my watermelons are growing? I don't have but two, but they are growing each day I go out. And look, I'm going to have to get some bone meal and I'm going to have to put those in a raised bed because they cannot stay in that pot because they are growing. Every day they look like they're a little bigger. So that pot is restricting the growth. They need to be in a patch, not a pot. So I got to work on doing that. But I'm pleased with that. So I thank you all for coming in. Cute little watermelons. Yeah, they are cute. They are. And I got okra coming up. I'm happy about that. I'm going to have to start. I don't have enough to really cook like a meal, but I'm going to have to start getting the young tender ones out, Nikki. I like them young and tender too, just like you say, Nikki, young and tender. Yes. So I'm going to have to cut them, wash them, put them in a Ziploc bag, and just wait until I get enough because I know if I let them stay out too long and get too big, they will be tough. So they will not be any good. So, and I don't just want to eat them just like that. I want to fry them. I want to fry them. So, yes. But you all have a great and wonderful weekend. Enjoy your families, your husbands, your fathers, your sons, your uncles. Enjoy your family. Enjoy life. Be happy. Smile a lot. Complain less. Just be happy. Just live life because God came to give us life and give us life more abundantly. He wants us to enjoy our lives. We don't have to get out here and do something crazy, but enjoy life. Be safe out here. Be careful. Stay woke. And I think the next topic, I have a couple of topics that I want to talk about, kind of hit on friendships and relationships. But that's one thing I have in mind. Procrastination is a big one that I have been thinking about, I'm sure, for the past 2 or 3 months. But you know what? That's a prime example. It's been a while when it first came to my spirit to speak on procrastination, and look at me. I haven't done it yet. That's procrastination right there because I've had time to talk about it. I've been talking about individuality. I'm talking about setting boundaries, hitting on friendships and relationships, and I've talked about this, that, and the third, but I'm procrastinating, and that's the very thing I want to talk about, procrastination. So maybe I will stop procrastinating and talk about it. I don't know when. I'm going to probably set some days to just come on and do, like, I didn't intend for this to be a long live. I intended for it to be just 30 minutes or so, but we've gotten into, all of this. But anywho, we will talk about procrastination real soon. That is a big one for me. And, you know, just now, my daughter, one of my daughters, on the other hand, she is a little bit OCD-ish in a way. She wants things done that's supposed to be done today, Nikki. She want them done yesterday or the day before. That's just how she is. So, but her mama is a little different in that area. So that's something I have to work on because that's not a good spirit. Procrastination is not a good spirit. And I know this. But anyway, y'all, be safe. Have a great weekend. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. And may the Lord make his face to shine up on you. Let your lights shine among others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify our Heavenly Father. So y'all be blessed. See you on the next one.